Picture this. You finally do the responsible thing. You start saving money. Every month you move a little into your savings account. $100 here, $200 there. You feel good about it, responsible, disciplined, financially mature. Then one day you open your banking app and something feels off. Your savings account has $10,000 sitting there and it's earning something like 0.5% interest, which means after an entire year, you've made about $50. 50. Meanwhile, you keep hearing people talk about investing, stocks, index funds, compound growth, and a quiet question shows up. Wait, am I doing this wrong? Saving money is good, but saving alone rarely builds real wealth. And this is where a lot of people get stuck. They know saving matters, but they have no idea how to turn saving into investing without feeling reckless. So in this video, you'll get the exact step-by-step path to make that transition while keeping a real safety net under you. No day trading, no all-in bets, no skipping the foundation. Just a clear path from protected money to growing money. Let's start with a more useful way to think about it. Saving money creates security, but for long-term goals, cash alone may struggle to outpace inflation. Saving is important. It is not a failure or a waste. It is the first stage. Because savings protect your money, investments grow your money. Those are two different jobs. Look at the math. Imagine you keep $10,000 in a typical savings account earning about 1% a year. After 1 year, you have about $10,100. Not terrible. Now compare that with a long-term investing in a diversified stock fund. Historically, the S&P 500 has returned roughly 10% a year on average over very long periods, including reinvested dividends before inflation, fees, and taxes. That is not a prediction. Some individual years have been much worse. Some long stretches have been disappointing. If that same $10,000 earned 10% in a year, you'd have about $11,000. The 1 year gap doesn't look huge. The real difference shows up over time. After 20 years, that savings path at 1% is roughly $12,200. The investing path at 10% averages around $67,000. Same starting money, completely different outcome. And here's what most people miss. The biggest difference is not always between people who save and people who spend. It's between people who save and people who invest. So why don't more people make the jump? It usually isn't math. It's psychology. Saving feels safe. You can see the number. It doesn't bounce around on a random Tuesday. Investing feels risky. The balance moves, sometimes up, sometimes down. That emotional volatility scares people into parking everything in cash forever. And if you're thinking, okay, but I don't want to lose my savings, totally fair. That's exactly why the transition should happen in stages, not all at once. Step 1, build a real emergency fund. Before you invest a single dollar you can't afford to leave alone. Aim for 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses in cash. This money stays in savings or a high yield savings account if you have access to one. It is not for investing. It is not for opportunities. It is for life hitting you. Job loss, medical bills, car repairs. Because here's the hidden truth. The biggest reason people panic sell investments is not that markets exist. It's that they need the money too soon. An emergency fund protects your investments from your own life. Until this bucket exists, you are not ready to turn most of your savings into investing. Step 2, before putting extra money into long-term investments, look at high interest debt. Credit cards and similar expensive debt can charge rates that are far higher than any investment return you can count on. Paying that down is often the safer next move. Then ask one question. When will I need this money? Money for a home deposit next year, tuition in 3 years, or a planned move is not long-term investment money. The stock market can be down exactly when you need to withdraw. A simple rule of thumb: money you expect to use within around 5 years usually belongs in safer, cash-like options, not in a stock fund. And if your employer offers a retirement match, understand the rules. That match may be part of the compensation you are leaving on the table. This is not a universal order for every country or situation. It is a checkpoint. Expensive debt, near-term goals, and available employer benefits all deserve attention before you press invest. Step 3. Separate saving from investing mentally and physically if you can. Call it the 2-bucket system. Bucket 1, safety money. Bucket 2, growth money. Safety money does not need to grow fast. It needs to be there. Growth money is allowed to fluctuate because its job is long-term growth. When those two jobs live in the same mental pile, every market dip feels like an emergency. When they live in separate buckets, dips become uncomfortable, but not catastrophic. This one mental split reduces anxiety more than almost any fancy strategy. Step 4. Start investing small. A lot of beginners think investing requires thousands of dollars on day one. It doesn't. Many brokerage platforms let you start with $50 or $100. The first goal is not massive profit. The first goal is building the habit, because habits compound harder than perfect timing. You're not trying to be a genius this month. You're trying to become someone who invests consistently for decades. Step 5. Focus on simple investments first. This is where beginners often sabotage themselves. They jump into complicated stuff, day trading, options, crypto speculation, before they even have a system. But for many people, a simple place to learn is a broad, low-cost index fund or fund mix that fits their time horizon and country. Instead of trying to pick the one winning company, you're owning a huge basket of companies at once. More diversification, less I have to be right every week pressure, long-term growth as the goal. Even Warren Buffett has repeatedly pointed everyday investors toward low-cost index funds. The most powerful strategy is often the boring one: consistent investing. Example: if you invest $300 a month and the market averages about 8% a year over a long stretch, after 25 years, you could be looking at roughly $285,000. You only put in about $90,000. The rest came from growth over time. That is a simplified illustration. It assumes an 8% annual return, monthly investing, and no taxes or fees. Real results will vary, but it shows why small, repeatable contributions can matter more than waiting for the perfect moment. Here is what the path might look like with a $500 monthly surplus. First, build the emergency fund. If you have high interest debt, direct the extra money there next. If you have a retirement match you understand and can afford to use, consider that alongside the debt decision. Then automate an amount you can leave invested for years, even if it is only $50 to start. That's compounding working for you when you give it time and you don't panic every headline. Quick analogy: saving money is like storing seeds in a jar. You're protecting them. Nothing grows. Investing is like planting those seeds in soil. At first it looks messy. You don't see results overnight, but over years, something bigger than the original seeds can grow. Now, the objection everyone has: what if the market crashes right after I start? Great question. Market downturns are normal. They've happened many times in history for long-term investors who have already set aside their emergency fund and near-term money. Downturns can mean the next contributions buy more shares at lower prices. That doesn't make crashes fun. It means thinking in decades, not days, changes how you experience them. Experienced investors stay calm, less because they feel nothing, and more because their plan already assumed volatility. Step 6, stay disciplined and give compounding time to work. So here's the full path again. 1, build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund in cash. 2, deal with high interest debt and keep near-term goal money safe. 3, split your money into safety money and growth money. 4, start investing small amounts consistently. 5, keep it simple, diversified, low-cost investments that match your time horizon, not complicated bets. 6, stay disciplined when headlines get loud. Saving money gives you stability. Investing gives your money a chance to grow beyond inflation and idle cash. The earlier you combine both safely, the more powerful your future options become. If this helped you see the path from saving to investing, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next money system breakdown. And tell me in the comments, are you still in the saving stage or have you already started investing? Because the moment you move from only protecting money to also growing it with a safety net under you, that's when your money starts working a lot harder. Same person, better system.